Hello. I invite you to the first episode of War Calendar. On June 14, the Auschwitz camp began its operations. The first transport of prisoners, mainly Poles, arrived at the camp from Tarnow. Let's start. On June 14, 1940, 728 political prisoners, mostly Poles, teachers, clergy, soldiers and members of the resistance movement, were gathered in the Tarnow prison. The prisoners were led to the train station, where freight cars were waiting, cramped and without windows. The transport set off towards an unknown destination, and the prisoners speculated about the destination of the journey, although no one knew where they were being taken. After many hours of travel, the train stopped in Auschwitz. The prisoners were led out of the cars to the square in front of the camp, where there was a gate with the inscription Arbeit macht frei. They were lined up, and a brutal registration began. Their personal belongings were taken away, their heads were shaved and they were put in striped uniforms. From that moment on, they were just numbers, deprived of identity. Auschwitz was still expanding in 1940. Prisoners from the first transport were forced to work on the construction of the camp, digging trenches, erecting barracks and repairing roads. Each day began with long, brutal roll calls. The prisoners were hungry, and their food rations, soup, bread and margarine, were not enough to maintain their strength. The work was exhausting, and any sign of resistance ended in brutal punishment. Some prisoners from the first transport survived the hell of Auschwitz and told their stories after the war. Tadeusz Peter Żukowski, a boxer, fought in the camp ring, obtaining additional portions of food for himself and others. After the war, artist Marian Kolodziej created paintings documenting life in the camp. Their testimonies show the brutal realities, but also the incredible strength of survival demonstrated by those who survived. On June 14, 2006, the Polish Parliament established the National Day of Remembrance for victims of German Nazi concentration camps and extermination camps. On this day, we commemorate the victims of the first transport to Auschwitz, but also the millions of people who lost their lives in the camps. Auschwitz has become a symbol of cruelty, and today it serves as a museum, visited by people from all over the world. The anniversary ceremonies remind us of the need to preserve memory and warn against the evil that can result from hatred. The first transport to Auschwitz on June 14, 1940 began one of the darkest pages of history. Today, the memory of these events is a tribute to the victims and a warning against the cruel regime that destroyed the lives of millions of people. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, it helps me grow this channel. See you next time.